The road stretched long and empty through the quiet woods of northern Louisiana, bordered by pines that swayed gently in the afternoon breeze. Brigadier General Regina Cole had driven this route countless times over the past decade, her assignments often taking her through these forgotten parts of the South. This was supposed to be another routine drive. No motorcade, no military escort. Just her, a rented dark blue sedan, and a silent promise to reach Barksdale Air Force Base by sunset for a classified strategy briefing. The world, she assumed, would stay quiet for at least one day. Dressed in worn jeans, a plain white tee, an olive-green windbreaker, and a faded baseball cap pulled low over her short-cropped hair, Regina looked like any other traveler passing through. That was intentional. She'd long learned that power didn't always need to be visible to be felt. Today, she just needed peace and a signal strong enough to make a secure call. Unfortunately, her encrypted government phone had lost service nearly 20 miles back. The digital map offered no help. No towers, no coverage, just a gray bar mocking her with silence. A mile up ahead, she spotted a weather-beaten sign, Kelly's Fuel and Groceries 2 miles. It looked like one of those one-pump stations that time forgot, but it was her only shot. She pulled in slowly, crunching over broken gravel, the old canopy creaking in the wind. A few rusted pickups lined the edge of the lot. Locals, she assumed. Men in work boots and trucker caps leaned against the hoods, swapping stories. No one paid much attention as she parked on the far side of the station, trying to stay out of view. Inside the car, she powered up the secure line and stepped outside to catch a stronger signal. As the encryption loaded, she lifted the phone to her ear. Brigadier General Regina Cole. Verifying identity. Begin transmission, she said in her even, clipped tone. The other end crackled to life. Copy that, General. Proceeding with Operation Whirlwind Briefing. Priority 1 Movement Update. For the next several minutes, Regina listened intently, her eyes scanning the lot with habitual precision. Military reflexes never faded. Even in silence, she clocked details: the cracked pavement, the faded beer signs in the window, the cashier watching her through the glass. The woman behind the counter looked to be in her 50s, blonde hair pulled into a tight knot, mouth curled into a suspicious frown. The kind of face molded by years of judging others. Regina had seen it too many times before. The cashier, Sharon Wilkes, leaned forward as Regina continued her call. She couldn't hear the words, but she didn't need to. The woman outside didn't look like she belonged. Not because of her clothes, but because of something else. Sharon's assumptions didn't require logic. They rarely did. Muttering under her breath, Sharon picked up the phone and dialed the Mossford Police Department. Yeah, I got someone outside. Black woman, acting real strange. Pacing around the pumps, talking to herself. She might be high or something. Y'all better come check it out. She hung up before dispatch could ask more questions. Across town, officers Mitch Dobson and Craig Randall were finishing lunch in their cruiser. Mossford was the kind of town where law enforcement rarely faced emergencies. Speeding tickets, loose dogs, maybe the occasional fight at Billy's Tavern. But a suspicious woman at the gas station? That was just enough excitement to jolt them out of their boredom. Within minutes, their black and white cruiser screeched into the lot. Gravel sprayed in all directions. Regina saw the lights flash across the windows, then heard the crunch of boots. She lowered her phone just slightly, enough to identify the movement, but not enough to abandon her call. 2 men approached fast. One, Officer Dobson, was stocky and red-faced, his holster unbuttoned. The other, Randall, was wiry and nervous, sunglasses sliding down his nose. Neither looked calm. Both looked ready to escalate. Regina gently placed the phone on the hood of her car and turned toward them with open palms. Afternoon, officers. Something wrong? She asked, voice level. License and registration. Now, Dobson barked, his hand hovering near his sidearm. Regina kept her movements slow. Of course. I'm Brigadier General Regina Cole, U.S. Army. I'm on official duty heading to Barksdale. My credentials are in my back pocket. I'll retrieve them slowly. She reached for her ID, producing not just her military card, but her official travel orders, folded neatly in a transparent sleeve. She offered them forward. Randall snatched the documents, glancing at them with disinterest. "General, huh," he said with a smirk. "You expect us to believe that?" Dobson looked at the paperwork, then tossed it back onto the hood like it was garbage. "This is fake," he snapped. Regina's jaw clenched. "Sir, you're making a serious mistake." "Shut your mouth," Randall snapped. "You trying to run some scam on us?" Picked the wrong town for that. A small group had begun to gather, locals lingering by the station door, customers pumping gas who'd stopped mid-fill. Someone pulled out a phone. Another whispered, but no one moved forward. "I'm telling you to turn around." "Hands behind your back," Dobson said, cuffs already in hand. Regina stood her ground. "I will not resist, but I am informing you that you are illegally detaining a federal officer." "Lady, I don't care if you're the Queen of England," Dobson snarled. "Turn around." Before she could finish the next sentence, Randall grabbed her arm. Dobson yanked the other one back and snapped the cuffs tight around her wrists. The pain was sharp, immediate. Regina's secure phone clattered to the pavement. "Got her," Randall said proudly. Inside the Pentagon, the secure connection crackled violently, then dropped. Lieutenant Commander Avery Lyles stood behind his workstation, staring at the status screen in horror. The connection had terminated mid-briefing, with sounds of yelling in the background. "General Cole, do you copy?" he called into the mic. No answer. Colonel Lisa Marin strode over fast. "Ping her signal. Get me Barksdale and Civil Defense on the line. Move." Within moments, the blinking GPS marker appeared. Kelly's Fuel and Groceries, Mossford, L.A. Lisa stared. "You got to be kidding me. Give me the base commander. Full team. Go." Back in Mossford, Regina sat cuffed on the curb. Dust stuck to her pants. Dobson leaned over her. "Real name." "Now." "You already have it," she said. "You had the orders, too." "You're 2 seconds from obstruction," he threatened. Regina said nothing. Let them talk. Let them perform. Her dignity was the one thing they couldn't touch. Around her, more phones came out. Paula stood smirking by the station door, enjoying every second. Then Randall's radio chirped. "Unit 3 confirmed attainment." "Confirmed," Dobson said. "Be advised," the voice continued. "Subject flagged federal. Immediate release ordered. Pentagon contact active. Await further instructions." Dobson froze. Randall's grin evaporated. "You've got to be kidding me," he muttered. The color drained from both their faces as Regina stared up at them silently. Dobson fumbled with the keys, unlocking the cuffs without eye contact. "Ma'am," he mumbled. Regina stood slowly, wrists red. Her phone was cracked. The call was gone. Her mission possibly compromised. "You're going to regret this," she said. "Not next week. Today." A new convoy pulled into the lot-black SUVs from Barksdale. Doors flew open. Officers moved quickly, efficiently. Leading them was Lieutenant Colonel Eric Saunders. He made a direct path to Regina. "General Cole, are you injured?" "No," she said, "but their careers are." The Air Force team surrounded her. Saunders turned to Dobson. "You're ordered to stand down pending federal investigation. Further interference will be treated as obstruction of justice." Dobson opened his mouth, but Saunders cut him off. "You had identification. You had everything. You saw a black woman on a phone call and decided she was a threat. That's going to follow you forever." Regina was escorted into the SUV. As they pulled away, she didn't look back for long, just long enough to see Paula duck inside like a shadow, fleeing light. Inside the vehicle, she sat silently. Saunders broke the silence. The Pentagon's launched a formal inquiry. DOJ, Civil Rights Division. "It's going public." "They should have known better," Regina said. The story hit national news before she even reached the base. Cell phone footage had surfaced her in cuffs, calmly identifying herself, ignored. No yelling. No aggression. Just systematic humiliation. The video exploded online. Veterans demanded action. Civil rights leaders condemned the injustice. Even the White House issued a rare public comment supporting her. The Mossford Police Department scrambled. Chief Lyle Granger stuttered through a press conference. Regret the misunderstanding. Officers on leave pending review. A reporter cut in. Chief, is this how your officers treat military generals? Was race a factor? The chief didn't answer. He didn't need to. Dobson and Randall's records surfaced. Past complaints, excessive force, profiling covered up before. Not this time. At Barksdale, Regina was briefed non-stop legal counsel, Pentagon calls, a statement drafted by federal attorneys. She read none of it. When the time came to speak, she chose her own words. The press conference was held on Saturday at noon. Reporters lined up. The world watched. Regina stepped to the podium in her full dress blues. Medals gleaming. Shoulders squared. My name is Brigadier General Regina Cole, she began. I've served this country for 29 years. Led troops. Briefed presidents. Protected the ideals we claim to stand for. Yesterday, none of that mattered. I was judged not by my service, but by my skin. She didn't pause for effect. She didn't need to. I'm not here for an apology. I'm here to make one thing clear: dignity is not negotiable. Behind the cameras, citizens wept. Veterans saluted. Students held signs. She looked them in the eye and said, injustice is not new, but silence cannot continue. I was not humiliated yesterday. They were. She walked away from the podium without waiting for questions. Applause erupted behind her, not as noise but as truth. Regina walked forward with the same pace she always had. She knew change wouldn't come overnight, but it would come because she spoke, because she stood, and because she refused to disappear.